I've seen some unbelievably stupid things in my time, but this may almost take the cake. Because the amount of electrical power flowing through the charging cables is so huge, the cables have a cooling system built in to take away the excess heat. If the cable gets too hot, the charger will reduce the power. So one of the EV fanboy sites is spruiking a life hack, or more accurately a death hack, where you drape a wet towel over your charging cable to cool it down a bit more in hot weather, thereby eking out every last ounce of precious electricity as quickly as possible. Just a reminder that water, due to impurities and other foreign matter, will conduct electricity poorly, but enough. So if that additional water on the towel makes its way through a seal or maybe a crack caused by damage to the DC terminals, it'll be good night campers. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description. And there's a code on the screen. Scan that with your phone if you want to sign up for an occasional MGUY email. It'd be great to have you on board. And also look out for the news round videos that are coming out, which summarises all of the other EV stories that I haven't had a chance to make a video on. One of the things that astonishes me about the EV craze is just how little regard everyone has about the dangers of electricity. A gas-filling nozzle is highly unlikely to kill you, unless you get hit over the head with it, but a charging cable just might. And it's all well and good when these chargers are relatively new, but what happens in 10 years' time, after the things have been standing in blazing sun, rain and wind, and the insulation is starting to break down? And the amounts of power that these chargers deliver is mind-blowing compared to your average home appliance. A blowy heater or a kettle uses about 2 kilowatts of power. And these chargers can be more than 150 times that. And yet some bright spark thinks that adding a wet towel to this is somehow a good idea. These people are literally insane. The fanboys at Inside EVs explain. You can put a wet towel on a Tesla supercharger handle to get faster charging speeds. The trick is most useful on older V2 supercharger stalls, but it can also come in handy on the newer V3 units. Everybody who knows EVs knows that extreme temperatures and high charging speeds don't usually mix well. But some Tesla owners discovered that they can trick the system on hot sunny days to get a little extra juice from a supercharger station and save a few minutes during a top-up session. And believe it or not, it really seems to work. With all the doom and gloom news about Tesla cutting deep into its workforce, including sacking the entire team responsible for the supercharger network in the United States, skepticism about the company's ability to maintain the high charging standards is running high. But it's worth remembering that people love those chargers for a reason, and hey, this life hack may make them work even better. The wet towel trick has circulated on Tesla forums and other online communities for a few years now, but with summer coming in hot, we thought it would be a good idea to make this little DIY solution more widely known. As its name suggests, it implies putting a wet piece of cloth over the charging cable handle. This is especially useful during a hot day when the sun shines directly on the handle, making its temperature rise. On older V2 supercharger stalls that don't have actively cooled cables, the handle can get hot very quickly. As a result, the sensor that's inside the handle tells the charger to lower the charging speed so that a safe temperature can be maintained. But by putting a wet towel over the handle, it's shielded from the sun's light and can stay at a lower temperature, thus facilitating a higher charging rate. Okay, the first thing to say is that if you own a Tesla, do not, under any circumstances, follow this advice. What is amazing is how this is seen as just a cool little life hack, rather than messing around with a device delivering hundreds of kilowatts of power. The article touches on safety, but only to play down the risks. As for the safety concerns that some owners threw into online discussions that popped up over the years, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. For starters, Tesla's superchargers are more than capable of working safely when it rains, so a damp cloth shouldn't do any harm. Nah, she'll be right, mate. Yeah, she'll be right, mate. One of the excellent channels I follow is Pilot Debrief, as although I don't use it now, I have a private pilot's license myself. And he frequently mentions the Swiss cheese model of risk calculation, where if there are a dozen slices of Swiss cheese, say, which represent the various layers of defense against an incident, it's when the holes all line up due to a combination of failures that something catastrophic happens. This is one of those layers, which is full of holes. It's all good until all the holes in the other layers, like defective charger software, cracked insulation, internal cable damage or whatever, all line up. This is a great example of how, once again, serious concerns and risks associated with EV charging are downplayed and minimized. And when those risks are actually increased voluntarily with crazy life hacks like this, you know there's something seriously wrong.